Welcome to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge, your front row seat to the boldest ideas and smartest strategies in the marketing game. Your host is Reed Hansen, Chief Growth Officer at MarketSurge.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Marketing with MarketSurge. Our guest today is Brendan Norman, who is the CEO and co-founder of Classify, a company that's on a mission to organize the world's digital content, making it privacy safe, searchable, and monetizable. Before launching Classify, Brendan helped scale the Facebook audience network into a $3 billion business and played a key role in Unity's IPO. But when he tried to market a new kind of platform, he realized something shocking, that there really wasn't a good way to find or understand content at the page level, so he built one. Now with a team of top-tier AI and machine learning engineers, Classify's AI-powered classification engine and ContentGraph are redefining how publishers, advertisers, and marketers connect with the open web. Today we'll dig into why contextual marketing might finally beat audience targeting and what the future of digital advertising looks like, and more. Let's jump right in. Brendan, welcome to the podcast.
For having me, Reed.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, it's really exciting to have somebody that's kind of like at the cutting edge, just by way of background. So you have worked with, a huge network, Facebook's audience network. Tell us a little bit about that experience. What made you want to branch off and work and take on new ventures? What's that transition been like?
It's been a lot of fun. I kind of stumbled my way into advertising technology, and the more people that I meet in ad tech today, I don't think anybody studied advertising technology in school and wanted to get into this side of the business. Like, everybody has seen Mad Men. We kind of watch the old school 50s era of kind of how these creative process works, and like that's fascinating. And then our side of the business, around all the technology pipes that allow a beautiful ad creative to show up against the right content, as the other really scientific, more analytical, complex side that not many people get to see. It's kind of the plumbing underneath this whole thing. When you see an ad show up on your phone or on your desktop or on your TV or in a podcast, there's a lot of complexity that goes into how that ad actually showed up in front of your eyeballs, and then how it gets tracked. I kind of fell into it a little over a decade ago, joining a company called LiveRail that was a video supply-side platform. And they hired me to figure out mobile publishing, to work with mobile publishers and monetize using our ads. Pretty quickly after I joined, we got acquired by Facebook. And I had a really cool opportunity to go help build out Facebook Audience Network, and learned, one, from some of the smartest people in the business that I'm still very good friends with, most of the folks that I helped to build this with, how powerful it can be when you combine different data sets for targeting. So an advertiser shows up and they say, I'd like to run an ad campaign. Here are the objectives. I'm trying to sell this product, or I'm trying to drive awareness, or I'm trying to get signups, whatever they're looking to do. They'll give some basic information about what they're trying to accomplish, who they are, what product they're trying to sell. And then Facebook is really good at figuring out a lot of different signals around, you read, also kind of what you've been looking at, what you're interested in, and it kind of takes a lot of different data sources. And then it combines that with, in that moment, are you playing Words with Friends, the game? Are you reading an article about something? And what they try to do is to try to figure out which ad will be the most effective ad that looks relevant to what you're consuming at that moment, but also the one that you're most likely to engage with. And it's one of the reasons why Instagram advertising is so powerful. Facebook advertising is incredibly powerful. And to answer your question around, why Classify, when I left Facebook and then Unity, I was building a platform. I moved up to Tahoe and was really interested in backcountry ski touring.
Oh, nice.
And I started building out this platform to help connect ski touring guides with folks like me who wanted to meet them and learn more about local conditions and get better at understanding just how to do the sport. And when I built it brought on board some cool guides, brought some friends on board to start connecting with those guides, and then start trying to market it. To your earlier comment, anybody that I chatted with in the contextual targeting space, would basically say, here are pieces of content about sports or winter sports or skiing, very high level. And the category was like resort skiing, but it wasn't very specific to this very niche sport. And it kind of led me down a path of asking questions around why hadn't anybody been able to figure out how to deeply understand content at the contextual, at the semantic, at the really deep, and at the page level too. So fast forward to putting together a team of really smart AI, data scientists, engineers, and we just figured out a much better way to kind of classify that content, organize it, and then make it really easily searchable so that anybody marketing any type of product or advertising any type of product or service can pinpoint exactly at the specific page level where their ad should show up.
Interesting. So is this all under the umbrella of contextual targeting, or is this something different? Like, is this even more focused than that?
It falls under contextual. Contextual's been around for a very long time.
Right.
And, the old school examples are like a newspaper advertiser, might say, this is a column that we're running, this is a sports page. And an advertiser for the local sporting goods store wants to run an ad against, sporting page because it's relevant to that content. It's fairly static. To be able to do that across billions of web pages and to be able to, to help advertisers when there are tens of billions, hundreds of billions of auctions happening every single day, aligning each specific ad creative, allowing it to bid on a specific type of content, is a very complex thing. Mm-hmm. It's been around for a long time. It hasn't worked super well. So it does fall under the contextual targeting umbrella.
Okay.
But this is kind of the third iteration of that that's much, much more powerful than I think anything that we've seen previously in the industry. But it also kind of falls under the world of curation. And in a lot of ways, we're helping to curate a specific list of pages that an advertiser should run. So in the industry, there's definitely, I was at Advertising Week last week, a lot of discussion around how do we define the things that we're building right now? Does it fall into this curation bucket? Does it fall into this contextual bucket? I think the answer is kind of both. But at the end of the day, what we're solving is helping an advertiser run their ad against the most relevant piece of content.
Okay. Well, when we got on the call, you were you kind of teased that you're going to a big event tomorrow. So we're recording this on Tuesday, October 14th, and there's some news that's going to break tomorrow morning on the 15th, Wednesday. You didn't tell me what it was, but you said it's really big, and I am like really excited to hear what this is, and because knowing where what you've worked on, and what is big in the advertising technology space. So I'd love to hear what we can learn on Wednesday about ad technology, and what's the future.
Hi, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of inflection points in advertising technology, and outside of the walled gardens, it's kind of intentionally designed to be fairly. There's a lot of folks that want efficiency, and they kind of claim to make it transparent. But at the end of the day, like, it is designed to create revenue. It's designed to drive eyeballs, and there's a lot of, because of how these pipes are designed in a very kind of leaky way between, an advertiser working with their agency, has an intelligence platform where they buy ads that connects to a demand side platform, and that demand side platform, can either connect to a supply side platform. Within all of that, there are data providers like us, curators, there are audience providers. There's a whole bunch of different other ingredients in this entire ecosystem of pipes. And then each one of those pipes connecting to each other today uses much more custom API endpoints. So, effectively what that means is if I wanted to work with a supply side platform or a demand side platform, I'd have to reach out to that team, figure out what their specific API requirements are, write some code that's like this custom endpoint, make sure that it all is connected properly. It's not very standardized, and it's not always very efficient. You don't always have a lot of visibility or transparency into how it all works. Um, about a year ago, Anthropic, who released Claude, competes with OpenAI's ChatGPT. They released an open source model context protocol, MCP. And effectively, what it does is it allows different large language models. So it allows companies like ours, or any type of company that works with data that's built an agent, to connect with a Claude or connect with the ChatGPT or connect with other systems that folks have built internally. And what's really exciting about this is, instead of having to go through the very manual process of writing custom API endpoints, and this is all kind of boring technical stuff, but
No, this is good.
what's really exciting is it allows, it kind of democratizes the industry, and it allows anybody who's built some type of complex backend system like ours. It allows us to provide that, at scale across the industry and connect into a lot of different platforms in a very standardized and very simplistic way. So it'll allow the agent that we've built to work with an agency's internal intelligence platform. It'll allow us to easily work with supply-side platforms, demand-side platforms. So when you are buying ads, or you're a publisher selling ads, running your inventory or running your campaigns, it's complex. You have to do a lot of switching between different programs and platforms.
Yeah.
And what this enables is it to be much easier to kind of connect all these disparate platforms together in a really simplistic, unified, standardized way. And the goal is that it will increase transparency. It allows a lot of earlier stage startups like ours, that have built really powerful technology to just be deployed, to be accessible everywhere. So the goal in this initiative, with this consortium or this group of folks who have gotten together and decided to build this protocol, the goal is to just advance the industry forward through more transparency, through more accountability, through more efficiency. And it should help improve the whole ecosystem in terms of driving better dollars, better revenue for publishers, but also better outcomes for advertisers.
Interesting. So, I love that. We've for a variety of reasons, I think people get, I think there's kind of a high barrier to entry to be an advertiser. It requires a lot of technical skill. There's some big players, and then there's a lot of disconnect. I assume that this would help with a lot of those issues, that it just becomes more accessible and more efficient, like you say. Is that fair to say?
It very much is, yeah. And today, a lot of the advertising dollars, a lot of them go to social and they go to search. And then outside of that, the programmatic open web ecosystem is still a very, very large ecosystem. But a lot of that is concentrated into a higher budget type of campaigns, and the tools that are really powerful are only accessible to advertisers that spend a lot of money. So the other downstream effect of all this, I think, that will be exciting, is that we'll be able to service any type of advertiser. So if you have a $50 budget a month, today you're fairly limited to social and maybe some search. Eventually, with some of these existing tools or some of these new tools that are being developed right now and ways that they connect, it should enable a new generation of advertising technology to kind of build for everybody to be able to play in this space where it was previously only concentrated around the really large advertisers.
Interesting. So now I have a dozen follow-up questions here. In this consortium, can you tell us roughly who's involved in the consortium? Like, is it, just kind of for perspective, who's kind of backing this?
Yeah, it was originally started by Brian O'Kelly, and Brian, was one of the founders of Right Media, and then he founded and CEO of AppNexus. He sold that to AT&T, I think, for $1.6 billion, some years ago, and he is the godfather of programmatic. He's the godfather of pre-bid, and some of these new technologies that's enabled advertising to work at the scale that it does today. His new company is called Scope 3, and They have initially focused on helping advertisers understand what their carbon footprint is, how
Oh,
they can be more sustainable.
okay.
And it's cool because he's been very vocal about saying, I created all of this inefficiency in the space. So now I'm helping to like try to solve some of this problem that I created. But there was a stat maybe a year ago that digital advertising is around 3% of global emissions, whereas the airline industry is 2.5% of global emissions. So it's on par with
Yeah.
airlines flying around the world and finding more efficient ways that advertisers can deliver a campaign to the right content, reduce some of these inefficiencies is all part of this general theme of sustainability. So Brian, Scope 3, one of the founding members, Pubmatic,
Mm.
it was a supply side platform. Um, there's a couple other folks that are more similar to our size that are kind of in the data space,
Okay.
Optable, Classify. Um, and then I think a bunch more that will be announced fairly shortly. But it's a really interesting group across publishers, across
Yeah.
supply side platforms, and across like demand side and/or marketplaces where data providers
Okay.
like us can kind of consolidate
Yeah.
and deploy our agent.
So, okay, now what this makes me think is there will be some sort of reaction from Google, Facebook, and other social media platforms to dig their heels in or protect the marketing dollars that they have. Do you have you accounted for that? I mean, I think it's only a good thing. Like it would probably drive prices down. That would be my guess. But do you anticipate any other challenges that way?
Kind of operating in different spaces.
Uh huh.
So, as much as if I have $100 to spend on an advertising campaign right now,
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers, but an overwhelming percentage of that goes to Meta,
Mm-hmm.
and also goes to TikTok, other social channels,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the search side, through Google, and those are kind of reaching different people in different ways.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know that this completely takes away a big percentage of what's already being spent there because they are very effective channels.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does allow in the short term is it allows a lot of the same level of targeting and measurement and all of the really sophisticated, valuable pieces to what their product delivers on Facebook owned and operated property or Meta owned and operated property. It allows us to create a better ecosystem for the power of how all of that targeting and delivery and measurement works
Okay.
off of outside of the Meta platform. Eventually, it would be really cool if I don't know if they'll ever open up their ecosystem to allow third parties like ours
Mm-hmm.
and or the rest of the folks in this group to connect directly into the Meta owned and operated world and
Mm-hmm.
or the other social channels, TikTok. But that would be pretty cool
Yeah.
if we have a standardized way of kind of the industry gains a little more momentum and leverage to be able to work with some of these larger social channels, whereas they've owned end to end in their own ecosystem. It'll be interesting to see what happens
Yeah.
in the next few years
Yeah.
if that'll ever become more accessible.
So the announcement is coming tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th. How soon is this going to be like ready to deploy? Like how soon could a business engage with this?
Yeah, it's ready. I mean,
It's ready. Okay.
the protocol is ready. It's online. There's a website, and tomorrow's a webinar. There have been some early stage, like without naming what it is.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think there's been a lot of discussion on LinkedIn already
Okay.
about exactly what this new advertising context protocol and how it kind of sits on top of model context protocol from Anthropic.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that wants to, can come to the website and I'll share it with you after. Maybe you can link it in.
Yeah. I
Um,
will. Yeah. That's fantastic, Brennan. I mean, it is. I hear this and it's like very inspiring. It's almost like a new marketing channel that becomes available for small and medium sized businesses that just because of ad budgets just was, and level of complexity just wasn't really there for them. Um, and I think it kind of democratizes this technology a lot like AI has done for so many things. Well, this is super cool. I imagine that you'll be getting a lot of questions and requests for information coming up in the few days. So I feel so lucky that we were able to talk to you first. So Classify is now. What's Classify's specific role in this? Are we going to tomorrow be able to engage Classify to be something of a portal to this technology?
Short answer, yes. I mean, we're already working with a couple of our partners on, connecting these pipes using this new way that we connect our systems together. And it's part of it is enabling agents. We've kind of built these automated AI tools that you're able to talk to. And I think I've been spending a lot of time talking about how the tech works and not
Yeah.
essentially how you might practically use it. But
Great.
what this enables are these different agents. So we're a signals agent. We have contextual signals that we're able to provide and curate inventory. There will be buying agents. There will be creative agents. So other friends at other really interesting startups have built really interesting tools like, doing creative generation for native ads. So, for example, if you wanted to run a campaign that looks like the website, matches kind of the text, maybe matches some of the colors, they can ingest that and then render an ad that looks very similar. What this tech will do is it will allow all these different systems to talk to each other in a much more seamless way. And it also enables our agents to kind of do a lot of things on the back end in an automated fashion. So instead of a human having to go in and create a deal ID in PubMatic or an index exchange and then traffic that out to a DSP seat, the agents will be able to, automated agents will be able to go in and do a lot of this stuff for us, so that it frees up your focus to be able to think about how do I design the best advertising campaign. You'll be able to surface and access data much more efficiently and understand, how do I make better decisions as opposed to spending so much time, going back and forth between these systems, setting things up in a dashboard. And it just kind of automates a lot of that. So similar to how you used to go to Google, and some people still do, I still do sometimes, go to Google, search for something, go to a website list of a bunch of blue links, click into each one of those websites and read about them. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude have enabled us to just talk to, a chatbot, an agent, or an LLM in real time and kind of have that dialogue. That's what all of this enables. Is it enables that kind of natural language processing and prompt-based, conversational building of ad campaigns.
Very cool. Very cool. So it's like, I guess my experience with Meta and Google as ad platforms is they've gradually over time injected a few AI elements that help you with creative or targeting, but this is like leading with AI. So it's on the AI platform. I feel like that's just going to be a much better user experience, and the intelligence will, just feel more intuitive. I'm really enthusiastic about this. This is really cool. And I can't wait to play with it. I guess I would just want to learn more and I'd probably get my hands on it and experiment. But let me just see if I've missed anything that I was noting as you were talking. Do you think that this will? Yeah, sorry, I'm my mind's just racing. But do you think that? Hey, maybe let's talk about the sustainability element, which you touched on. Do you have any projections on what kinds of efficiencies we could see that compared to your previous approaches to programmatic and that kind of approach?
Very much. From a numbers perspective, I have no idea. I'm
Sure.
I'm hopeful that it will start to over time, make a big dent in this. But going back to how real-time bidding and how advertising works today, a lot less of it is an advertiser Coca-Cola saying, I would like to buy ads specifically on the New York Times, and like I want to buy these pages. That still happens, but it's less. A lot of this transactions happen in like through this bidding mechanism, kind of like how stocks are exchanged.
Yeah.
The New York Stock Exchange, which is all virtual and it all happens very, very quickly in milliseconds. So when ad campaigns, have objectives and they have some general direction around like how they want to bidding strategy. There's a lot of different campaigns fighting for the same type of inventory, and then delivery side, there's a lot of inefficiencies in this whole flow of how an ad actually shows up against the right content. And I think what this also enables is more transparency, more visibility, more results through the lens of knowing specifically from Classify, when we're helping an advertiser show up against the best content, ideally that drives a better conversion, it drives a better click-through rate, it helps somebody see an ad that they're actually wanted to connect with, and it bridges the gap between what's happening across the open web performance versus social performance, which is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I think that bringing more of the sophisticated tools that you see in social that drive better outcomes will now be enabled by some of these new protocols that allow these new AI systems like ours, and there's a lot of really cool ones in the ecosystem today. So play with them all, learn about all the new startups that are coming out right now. But to your point, how that enables sustainability is just through the general efficiency of knowing that like we're helping the right ad show up against the right content, and that does drive better performance for the advertiser, it drives better revenue for the publisher, and it just saves a lot of waste in the ecosystem.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I'm so excited. And Brendan, like I said, I'm so excited that we were able to have you on. Now, if people would like to reach out to you, work with Classify, maybe have you as a guest, I could imagine that there will be some interest in that. Where can people find you?
A couple things. One, if you want to just get a demo and kind of try out how our product works, the website is tryclassify.com.
Okay.
And anybody can go there and kind of interact with us like you would in ChatGPT. Say, I want to drive sales for Apple iPhones, to people in Chicago. And then you'll see a very curated list of URLs that we would pinpoint advertisements against. What all of this enables is the ability to kind of have that be a lot more automated, and have that experience kind of deployable everywhere. And then to connect, either connect with us through the webpage. My LinkedIn is great. It's LinkedIn Brendan Norman. I'm happy to connect there over DMs or just email me. But yeah, thank you. It was really good to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Want to stay ahead of what's actually working in marketing right now? Head over to MarketSurge.io and see how we're helping businesses grow smarter, faster, and louder. That's MarketSurge.io, because your next breakthrough shouldn't be a guess.